In Future Men, you say that an optimistic eschatology is essential to raising men. I like that, but there's a side of me that wonders, can it really be that practical? Can you help me out?
I'm going to assume that can it be that practical can postmillennialism or an optimistic eschatology be that practical? And the answer is yes. I remember shortly after I came into a postmillennial understanding, I was out in the backyard of the house. We bought a fixer-upper, and I was fixing it up, and I was planting a hedge along the alley, and I realized I can't even plant a hedge the same way because I was thinking in terms of where's this going to be 100 years from now. So most evangelical Christians don't live as though they're going to have great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
Okay, but you want to bring up your children in such a way that they are thinking of their great-great-grandchildren. A righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, it says in Proverbs. Legacy, heritage, inheritance is all generational thinking. And this is a combination of covenantal thinking and optimistic thinking. So covenant theology provides the framework of seeing the family unit not as the covenant body of Christ, because the church is that, but seeing how covenant families fit into how our households fit into the household of faith, and they fit in covenantally. Marriage is a covenant. You are the unfaithful wife in Proverbs is unfaithful to her husband by covenant. She's unfaithful to the covenant. In Malachi, the wives who are betrayed are the wives by covenant. So marriage is a covenant. The family is a covenant. It's a covenant reality that has to be incorporated into the church. And then there's a difference between, so that establishes the team. Eschatology establishes that you're a winning team. Right? Okay. The eschatology determines, are you going to have a loser's mentality?
It's sort of like the season and the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. So if you have ever had the misfortune to play on a sports team where the culture was one of, we're going to be in the basement again this season, you wonder, why are you even bothering? What's the point? There are people who don't have an optimistic eschatology, but they have optimistic personalities. And what that results in is them suppressing their eschatology for the sake of their personality. And sometimes they can get quite a bit done that way. But I think that's a sandy foundation for any kingdom work.
So, but why is it then that it's, in this quote, the question is referring back to your book, Future Men, and it connects this optimistic eschatology, saying that it's essential to raising men. So there's some element of this eschatology that becomes a part of your pedagogy with boys.
Yeah.
And how does that play out?
So boys and men require a mission. Okay? So when God creates Adam, sets him in the garden, he gives him a mission to tend the garden, protect it, to till the garden. And he's given a larger mission, the cultural mandate of subduing the earth, exercising dominion over the earth. Men are task-oriented. They're mission-oriented. They're not at home without a mission. Okay? And the postmillennial eschatology, the optimistic eschatology, means that it's not a suicide mission. In 1 Corinthians 15:58, it says, your labor in the Lord is not in vain. In 1 Corinthians 11, it says that man was not made for the woman, but the woman for the man. And so she was created to help him accomplish the mission. He's created for the mission. The gardener is created for the garden. The woman is created to tend the gardener. So the gardener tends the garden, the woman tends the gardener. And that's how they're focused. Now, of course, the gardener has to pay attention to his wife, love his wife as Christ loved the church, because she can't bless him, she can't help him if he's neglecting her, right? But You see in 1 Corinthians 11, where it says the man was not made for the woman, but the woman for the man. Men have to have a task, a vision, a goal, a purpose. And this is one of the reasons why men die so routinely after they retire. You know, that you've just pulled purpose out of their lives, particularly if they're not Christians and they don't have any larger purpose than to go to the factory every day or to deliver the mail or whatever it was they were doing. For years I've illustrated it this way. If you envision a book written by a man for men, what's the book about? It's about the mission. Right. It's about the battle. It's about spiking the guns of Navarone. It's about getting the cattle back. It's about finding the gold. It's about, you know. So men write books, adventure books, about the mission, about the battle, about the war. And then if a woman enters it, like the Louis L'Amour Western, the plucky rancher's daughter comes in from the side. And what's her role? Well, her role is to help him get the cattle back or the gold back. You know, she helps complement the mission. If you envision a book written by a woman for women, the relationship is the plot. First they like each other, then they don't like each other, and then they like each other again. And this can be great literature. It can be Pride and Prejudice, or it could be a Safeway Bodice Buster sort of gothic romance, or it could be Homer's Odyssey, or it could be a Louis L'Amour Western. Men and women think differently. So men think in terms of mission. And if you had a generation of young Christian men who were steeped and trained in the mission, the Great Commission, this is what we're here for, this is what we're going to do. Moreover, we're going to succeed.
Yeah, right.
That is bracing. You're going to have young men are going to rise to the occasion.